Imagine this. You wake up one morning and everything feels off. The world looks the same walls, the same streets, the same faces. But something is different. You can't quite put your finger on it, but it's as if the air itself has shifted. You go about your day, but every interaction feels hollow. Every decision seems predetermined, and every emotion feels like it's being pulled from a script you didn't write. By the end of the day, you're left with a gnawing question. Is this really my life, or am I just playing a role I didn't choose? Now imagine something even stranger. What if this feeling isn't new? What if it's been there all along, lurking beneath the surface of your awareness, quietly shaping every thought, every choice, every belief you've ever had? What if the life you're living isn't truly yours, but a reflection of something deeper, something hidden, something you've never fully confronted? This is the paradox of the subconscious mind. It is both the architect of your reality and the silent puppeteer pulling strings you can't see. It whispers to you in dreams, nudges you in moments of doubt, and colors your perception of the world in ways you don't even realize. And yet, despite its immense power, it remains largely invisible, operating in the shadows of your awareness. Here's the unsettling truth. Most of us live our lives on autopilot, convinced that we're in control, that our choices are our own, that our reality is something we've consciously built. But what if that's an illusion? What if the life you're living is less a product of your conscious decisions and more a reflection of the beliefs, fears, and desires buried deep within your subconscious? Consider this. Why do you keep making the same mistakes even when you know better? Why do you feel drawn to certain people even when they're bad for you? Why do you sabotage your own success even when you've worked so hard to achieve it? These aren't random occurrences. They're clues, pointing to the hidden forces shaping your reality. Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." This is the great question we must confront. How much of your life is truly yours? And how much is being dictated by the unseen depths of your mind? Think about the last time you felt truly alive, when you were fully present, fully engaged, fully yourself. What made that moment different? Was it the absence of fear, the clarity of purpose, the sense of being in sync with something greater than yourself? Now think about the moments when you feel most lost, most disconnected, most trapped. What's the common thread? Could it be that in those moments, your subconscious is running the show, steering you toward patterns and behaviors that no longer serve you? This is the tension we must explore. The tension between the life you think you're living and the life you're actually living. The tension between the self you present to the world and the self that exists in the shadows. The tension between the reality you see and the reality that's being constructed behind the scenes. But here's the twist. This isn't just a philosophical musing or a psychological curiosity. This is a matter of existential urgency. Because if your subconscious is shaping your reality, then understanding it isn't just an intellectual exercise. It's the key to unlocking a life of meaning, purpose, and freedom. So, let's dive deeper. Let's peel back the layers of your mind and uncover the hidden forces that have been quietly shaping your world. Let's confront the uncomfortable truths, challenge the illusions, and explore the profound implications of a question that could change everything. What if your reality isn't what you think it is? This is where the journey begins, not with answers, but with a question that demands to be asked. A question that will lead us into the labyrinth of the human psyche, where the shadows hold the keys to the light. A question that will force us to confront the most powerful force in our lives, the subconscious mind. And as we step into this exploration, remember, the answers we find may not be comfortable, but they will be transformative. Because the truth is, your reality is not fixed. It is not inevitable. It is not beyond your control. But to change it, you must first understand the force that has been shaping it all along. So, are you ready to look into the mirror of your mind and see what's really there? Are you ready to confront the hidden architect of your reality? The journey begins now. Imagine standing in front of a mirror, but instead of seeing your reflection, you see a stranger. This stranger looks like you, moves like you, even smiles like you, but there's something unsettling about them. They seem to know things about you that you don't. They carry wounds you've forgotten, fears you've buried, and desires you've never acknowledged. You try to look away, but the mirror follows you, forcing you to confront this shadow version of yourself. This is the subconscious mind, the stranger in the mirror, the hidden force that shapes your reality. It is the repository of everything you've ever experienced, felt, or believed, both the light and the dark. It is the part of you that remembers what your conscious mind has forgotten, the part that feels what your conscious mind has numbed, the part that knows what your conscious mind refuses to accept. But here's the problem. Most of us don't even realize this stranger exists. We go through life convinced that we're in control, that our thoughts and actions are the result of conscious decisions. We believe that we are the authors of our own stories, the masters of our own destinies. But what if that's just another illusion? What if the stranger in the mirror is the one holding the pen? To understand this, we must first confront the psychological and philosophical roots of the subconscious mind. Carl Jung called it the shadow, the part of ourselves that we repress, deny, or project onto others. It is the home of our deepest fears, our darkest desires, and our most painful memories. It is the part of us that we don't want to see, but that sees everything. Jung believed that until we integrate our shadow, until we bring it into the light of consciousness, it will continue to control us, manifesting as self-sabotage, irrational fears, and destructive patterns. But why do we repress these parts of ourselves in the first place? Why do we hide from the stranger in the mirror? The answer lies in our need for safety and acceptance. From the moment we're born, we're taught to conform, to fit into the mold that society has created for us. We're told what to believe, how to behave, and who to be. And in order to survive, we learn to suppress the parts of ourselves that don't fit. We bury our anger, our sadness, our vulnerability. We hide our true desires, our true fears, our true selves. But here's the paradox. The more we suppress, the more power we give to the subconscious. The more we deny our shadow, the more it grows, until it becomes a force we can no longer ignore. It begins to seep into our thoughts, our emotions, our actions. It shapes our relationships, our careers, our lives. And yet, we remain oblivious to its influence, convinced that we're in control. This is the hidden problem. The subconscious mind is not just a passive repository of memories and emotions. It is an active force, constantly shaping our perception of reality. It filters our experiences, distorts our thoughts, and influences our decisions. It creates the stories we tell ourselves, stories about who we are, what we deserve, and what's possible for us. And because these stories are rooted in the subconscious, they feel true, even when they're not. Consider this. Why do some people succeed while others fail? Why do some people find love while others remain alone? Why do some people live fulfilling lives while others feel trapped in a cycle of despair? The answer lies not in external circumstances, but in the subconscious beliefs that shape our reality. For example, if you grew up believing that you're not good enough, that belief will become a self-fulfilling prophecy. No matter how much success you achieve, no matter how much love you receive, you'll always feel like a fraud, like you don't deserve it. And because your subconscious is always working to confirm your beliefs, it will find ways to sabotage your success, to push love away, to keep you stuck in the same old patterns. This is the power of the subconscious mind. It creates the lens through which we see the world. And if that lens is distorted, our reality will be distorted too. But where does this distortion come from? Why do we develop these limiting beliefs in the first place? The answer lies in our early experiences. As children, we're like sponges, absorbing everything around us. The words, the actions, the emotions of the people in our lives. And because we don't yet have the ability to critically evaluate these experiences, we internalize them as truth. If you were told that you're stupid, you'll grow up believing that you're stupid. If you were told that you're unlovable, you'll grow up believing that you're unlovable. And these beliefs will become the foundation of your subconscious mind, shaping your reality in ways you can't even imagine. But here's the twist. These beliefs aren't just personal, they're also cultural. We live in a society that thrives on fear, scarcity, and control. It tells us that we're not enough, that we need to be richer, thinner, smarter, more successful in order to be worthy. And because these messages are so pervasive, they seep into our subconscious, becoming part of our internal narrative. This is the deeper problem. The subconscious mind is not just shaped by our personal experiences, but by the collective beliefs of our society. It is a reflection of the world we live in, a world that values conformity over individuality, fear over love, and control over freedom. And so, we find ourselves trapped in a double bind. On one hand, we're shaped by our personal experiences. On the other, we're shaped by the collective beliefs of our society. The result is a subconscious mind that is deeply conflicted, constantly pulling us in different directions, keeping us stuck in patterns that no longer serve us. But here's the good news. The subconscious mind is not fixed. It is not a prison. It is a garden, and like any garden, it can be cultivated. It can be weeded, pruned, and replanted. But to do that, we must first understand it. We must shine a light into the shadows, confront the stranger in the mirror, and reclaim the power that has been hidden from us. This is the journey we must undertake, a journey into the depths of our own minds, where the seeds of our reality have been planted. It is a journey that will require courage, curiosity, and a willingness to confront the uncomfortable truths that lie beneath the surface. But before we can begin this journey, we must first understand the consequences of ignoring the subconscious mind. Because the truth is, the longer we ignore it, the more power it has over us. And the more power it has over us, the more distorted our reality becomes. So, let's take the next step. Let's explore the unseen consequences of a subconscious mind left unchecked. Let's uncover the ways in which it silently shapes our personal and societal realities. And let's prepare ourselves for the radical shift that will allow us to break free. The journey continues. Imagine living in a house where the walls are slowly crumbling, the foundation is cracking, and the roof is leaking, but you don't notice. You go about your days, decorating the rooms, rearranging the furniture, even inviting guests over, all while ignoring the signs of decay. One day, the house collapses, and you're left standing in the rubble, wondering how it all went wrong. This is what happens when we ignore the subconscious mind. It is the foundation of our reality, the invisible structure that holds everything together. And when it's left unchecked, it begins to crumble, taking our lives down with it. The consequences of an unexamined subconscious are both personal and societal. On a personal level, it manifests as self-sabotage, emotional turmoil, and a pervasive sense of dissatisfaction. On a societal level, it fuels collective delusions, systemic dysfunction, and cultural stagnation. But because these consequences are often subtle and gradual, we don't notice them until it's too late. Let's start with the personal consequences. Think about the last time you made a decision that you later regretted. Maybe it was a relationship you knew was toxic, a job you knew was unfulfilling, or a habit you knew was destructive. In the moment, it felt like the right choice, but in hindsight, it's clear that something else was at play. That something else is your subconscious mind. It's the part of you that's driven by fear, by insecurity, by a deep-seated belief that you don't deserve better. It's the part of you that's stuck in old patterns, replaying old stories, and clinging to old identities. And because it operates below the level of consciousness, it can override your rational mind, leading you to make choices that are out of alignment with your true self. This is how self-sabotage works. It's not that you consciously want to fail or suffer. It's that your subconscious is working against you, pulling you back into familiar territory, even when that territory is painful. It's like a gravitational force, keeping you tethered to the past, preventing you from moving forward. And then there's the emotional turmoil. Have you ever felt a wave of anger, sadness, or anxiety, seemingly out of nowhere? These emotions are often triggered by subconscious memories, experiences that you've repressed or forgotten, but that still live within you. They're like landmines, buried deep in your psyche, waiting to be stepped on. The problem is, most of us don't know how to deal with these emotions. We either suppress them, which only makes them stronger, or we act them out, which creates more problems. And so, we find ourselves caught in a cycle of emotional reactivity, unable to break free. But the consequences don't stop there. The subconscious mind also shapes our relationships. It determines who we're attracted to, how we interact with others, and what we expect from them. And because it's often driven by unmet needs and unresolved wounds, it can lead us into unhealthy dynamics, codependency, manipulation, and emotional unavailability. Think about the people in your life who seem to bring out the worst in you. Chances are, they're triggering something in your subconscious. A fear of abandonment, a need for validation, a belief that you're unworthy of love. And until you address these underlying issues, you'll keep attracting the same kind of people, replaying the same kind of patterns. Now, let's zoom out and look at the societal consequences. The subconscious mind doesn't just shape individual lives, it shapes entire cultures. It's the reason why societies repeat the same mistakes, why they cling to outdated beliefs, and why they resist change. Take, for example, the way we consume. On a conscious level, we know that materialism doesn't bring happiness, that overconsumption is destroying the planet, and that we're being manipulated by advertising. And yet, we keep buying, Keep accumulating, keep chasing the next big thing. Why? Because our subconscious is wired for scarcity, for fear, for the belief that we're not enough. Or consider the way we relate to power. On a conscious level, we value democracy, equality, and freedom. And yet, we allow authoritarianism, inequality, and oppression to persist. Why? Because our subconscious is wired for hierarchy, for dominance, for the belief that some people are inherently superior to others. These collective delusions are the result of millions of individual subconscious minds, all operating in the same way, all reinforcing the same beliefs. And because they're so deeply ingrained, they're incredibly difficult to change. But here's the most insidious consequence of all. The subconscious mind creates a false sense of reality. It filters our experiences, distorts our perceptions, and constructs a narrative that feels true, even when it's not. And because we're so immersed in this narrative, we don't even realize that it's a narrative. Think about the last time you felt stuck. Like no matter what you did, nothing would change. That feeling of helplessness, of futility, is a product of your subconscious mind. It's the result of beliefs like, I'm not good enough, I don't deserve happiness, or the world is against me. And because these beliefs are so deeply rooted, they create a self-fulfilling prophecy, keeping you trapped in a cycle of despair. This is the power of the subconscious mind. It creates the lens through which we see the world. And if that lens is distorted, our reality will be distorted too. But here's the twist. The subconscious mind is not inherently negative. It's not a villain, but a tool. It's a repository of wisdom, creativity, and potential. It's the part of us that knows how to heal, how to grow, how to transform. But in order to access that potential, we must first confront the distortions, the illusions, the false beliefs that have been holding us back. This is the work that lies ahead. It's not easy, and it's not comfortable, but it's necessary. Because the longer we ignore the subconscious mind, the more power it has over us. And the more power it has over us, the more distorted our reality becomes. So let's take the next step. Let's explore how to break free from the grip of the subconscious mind, how to reclaim our power, and how to create a new reality, one that's aligned with our true selves. The journey continues. Imagine standing at the edge of a vast, dark forest. You've been told your entire life that this forest is dangerous, that it's filled with monsters, and that you should never enter it. But one day, you hear a whisper, a voice calling you from deep within the trees. It's not a voice of fear, but of curiosity, of longing, of possibility. Against all logic, against all warnings, you take a step forward, and then another, and another. This is what it means to rebel against the subconscious mind. It means stepping into the unknown, confronting the shadows, and reclaiming the parts of yourself that you've been taught to fear. It's not an easy journey, but it's the only way to break free from the patterns, beliefs, and illusions that have been holding you back. So, how do we begin this rebellion? How do we dismantle the invisible forces that have been shaping our reality? The answer lies in a radical shift in perspective, a shift that challenges everything we thought we knew about ourselves and the world. The first step is awareness. You cannot change what you cannot see. And so, the journey begins with shining a light into the shadows, with bringing the subconscious into the light of consciousness. This is what Carl Jung called individuation, the process of integrating the unconscious parts of ourselves into our conscious awareness. But how do we do this? How do we uncover the hidden beliefs, fears, and desires that have been driving our behavior. One powerful tool is self-reflection. This means taking the time to examine your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, not with judgment, but with curiosity. It means asking yourself questions like, why do I feel this way? Where does this belief come from? What am I afraid of? What do I truly want? These questions are not easy to answer. They require honesty, vulnerability, and a willingness to confront the uncomfortable truths that lie beneath the surface. But they are essential, because until you understand the root of your patterns, you cannot change them. Another powerful tool is mindfulness. This means paying attention to the present moment without judgment or distraction. It means observing your thoughts and emotions as they arise, without getting caught up in them. And it means creating a space between stimulus and response. A space where you can choose how to act rather than reacting automatically. Mindfulness is like a flashlight in the dark forest of the subconscious. It allows you to see the patterns, the triggers, the illusions that have been shaping your reality, and it gives you the power to choose a different path. But awareness and mindfulness are just the beginning. The next step is reprogramming. This means replacing the old, limiting beliefs with new, empowering ones. It means rewriting the stories you've been telling yourself, stories about who you are, what you deserve, and what's possible for you. One way to do this is through affirmations. These are positive statements that you repeat to yourself over and over until they become part of your subconscious mind. For example, if you've always believed that you're not good enough, you might repeat the affirmation, I am worthy. I am enough. I deserve love and happiness. At first, these affirmations might feel fake, even ridiculous, but that's because they're in conflict with your existing beliefs. Over time, as you repeat them, they begin to take root, replacing the old negative beliefs with new positive ones. Another way to reprogram the subconscious is through visualization. This means imagining yourself living the life you want, feeling the emotions you want to feel, and embodying the person you want to be. Visualization is like a rehearsal for reality. It allows you to create a new narrative in your mind, one that aligns with your true self. But reprogramming is not just a mental exercise, it's also an emotional one. This means feeling the emotions that you've been suppressing, the anger, the sadness, the fear. It means allowing yourself to grieve the losses, to release the pain, and to heal the wounds. This is where shadow work comes in. Shadow work is the process of confronting the parts of yourself that you've been taught to reject, the parts that you've labeled as bad, wrong, or unworthy. It means embracing your darkness, not as something to be ashamed of, but as something to be integrated. Shadow work is not easy. It requires courage, compassion, and a willingness to face the unknown. But it is essential. Because until you embrace your shadow, you cannot fully embrace yourself. And until you fully embrace yourself, you cannot truly break free. The final step is action. This means taking concrete steps to align your life with your new beliefs, your new narrative, your new self. It means making choices that reflect your true desires, your true values, your true potential. Action is the bridge between the inner world and the outer world. It's the way you bring your new reality into existence. And it's the way you prove to yourself that change is possible. But here's the thing. Rebellion is not a one-time event. It's an ongoing process. It's a daily commitment to awareness, to mindfulness, to reprogramming, to shadow work, and to action. It's a journey that requires patience, persistence, and a willingness to keep going, even when it's hard. And yet, despite the challenges, rebellion is worth it. Because on the other side of the forest is freedom. Freedom from the patterns, the beliefs, the illusions that have been holding you back. Freedom to create a new reality, one that's aligned with your true self. Freedom to live a life of meaning, purpose, and joy. So, are you ready to rebel? Are you ready to step into the forest, to confront the shadows, and to reclaim your power? The journey continues. Imagine this. You've been walking through the dark forest for what feels like an eternity. The trees are thick, the path is unclear, and the shadows seem to close in around you. But then, just as you're about to give up, you see it, a clearing. A beam of light breaks through the canopy, illuminating the space ahead. You step into the clearing, and suddenly, everything makes sense. This is the moment of ultimate truth. It's the moment when all the pieces fall into place, when the illusions dissolve, and when you finally see reality for what it is. It's the moment when you realize that the forest was never the enemy, it was the teacher. And the shadows were never something to fear, they were something to embrace. So, what is this ultimate truth? What is the final, most powerful realization that redefines how we see reality? It's this: you are not your subconscious mind. You are not the beliefs, the fears, the desires, or the patterns that have been shaping your reality. You are not the stories you've been telling yourself, the identities you've been clinging to, or the illusions you've been living under. You are something far greater, far deeper, far more infinite. The subconscious mind is a tool, a powerful, complex, and often misunderstood tool. But it is not you. It is a part of you, yes, but it is not the essence of you. The essence of you, the true self, is beyond the subconscious. It is the awareness that observes the thoughts, the emotions, the patterns. It is the consciousness that exists before, during, and after the mind. This is the paradigm shift that changes everything. When you realize that you are not your subconscious mind, you reclaim your power. You step out of the role of the victim and into the role of the creator. You see that you are not bound by the past, by the beliefs, or by the patterns. You are free to create a new reality, one that's aligned with your true self. But here's the twist. This realization is not just intellectual. It's experiential. It's not something you can think your way into. It's something you must feel, embody, and live. Think about the last time you had a moment of pure presence, a moment when you were fully here, fully now, fully yourself. In that moment, there was no subconscious mind, no past, no future. There was just you, pure and unadulterated. That is the true self. That is the essence of who you are. And yet most of us spend our lives identified with the mind, with the thoughts, the emotions, the patterns. We believe that we are the mind, and so we become trapped in its illusions. But the truth is, the mind is just a tool. It's a tool for navigating the world, for solving problems, for creating meaning. But it is not the essence of who we are. This is the ultimate truth. You are the awareness behind the mind. You are the space in which thoughts arise and dissolve. You are the stillness beneath the chaos. You are the light that illuminates the shadows. And when you realize this, everything changes. The beliefs that once held you back lose their power. The fears that once paralyzed you lose their grip. The patterns that once trapped you lose their hold. Because you see them for what they are: illusions, constructs, tools, and you see yourself for what you are: pure, infinite, free. This is not just a philosophical insight, it's a practical one. When you realize that you are not your subconscious mind, you gain the power to reprogram it. You gain the power to choose your beliefs, to shape your reality, to create your life. But here's the catch. This power comes with responsibility. It means taking ownership of your thoughts, your emotions, your actions. It means no longer blaming the past, the world, or other people for your reality. It means stepping into the role of the creator and accepting that you are the author of your own story. This is the final, most powerful realization. You are the creator of your reality. Not the subconscious mind, not the past, not the world. You. And when you fully embody this truth, everything changes. The struggles, the pain, the confusion, they all make sense. They were never obstacles. They were opportunities. Opportunities to wake up, to grow, to transform. Opportunities to realize who you truly are. So, what does this mean for your life? It means that you have the power to create a new reality, one that's aligned with your true self. It means that you can rewrite the stories, break the patterns, and step into your full potential. It means that you can live a life of meaning, purpose, and joy. But it also means that the journey never ends. Because the moment you think you've arrived, you've stopped growing. The moment you think you figured it all out, you've lost the mystery. The moment you think you've conquered the subconscious, you've fallen back into its grip. The ultimate truth is not a destination, it's a way of being. It's a daily commitment to awareness, to presence, to creation. It's a journey into the infinite depths of who you are. So as you step out of the forest and into the clearing, remember this: the journey is not over. It's just beginning. And the truth is not something you find. It's something you become. You are not your subconscious mind. You are not your past. You are not your patterns. You are the awareness behind it all. You are the creator of your reality, and you are free.